All right, hey everyone, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Morgan Rosh, and on behalf of our CEO, Helen Adioson, and the entire CareAcademy team, I just want to thank you guys for spending part of your day with us. So trust me, I can only imagine how busy all of you must be, and I definitely want to be respectful of your time, so let's get to it. So before I even hop right into the agenda, I'd love to take a poll really quick. All right, so which is the most difficult for you as of right now? Is it finding new caregivers, finding new clients, dealing with licensing and regulation, or is it something else? All right, thank you so much. So now the agenda. So what are we going to be covering today? We got 4 major topics. We're going to be talking about where the home care market is headed, the caregiver shortage that's affecting California home care organizations, what California's training requirements even are, and if you stick around all the way to the end, I'll have a special offer that's going to save you a ton of time and money when it comes to certifying your caregivers. Sound good? All right, let's dive right into it. So, as I'm sure you can agree, I'd say it's a great time to be in home care because it's one of the fastest growing markets, and it's definitely not going to stop growing in our career's lifetime. So the slide you're looking at right now, this is from the Peter G. Peterson Foundation, which publishes amazing research on a whole array of healthcare topics. This chart right here shows what's going on exactly in the senior care industry. The number of seniors who are 75 plus is growing really fast. So we're about 10 years or so into a 50-year period of tremendous growth, and that's why you're probably starting to feel some pressure when it comes to finding caregivers. It's almost getting to the point where whoever has caregivers ready to go is basically guaranteed to get that business. So even though you know they aren't as good of an operator as you are, and even though you definitely know they cut corners and don't treat their customers like they should, still they get the business because they have someone in the home the absolute next day. That, to me, is just a terrible injustice. So let's face it, the bottom line is that without caregivers, you're stuck. But it's not your fault. This shortage of experienced caregivers, it's getting worse every single year. There's simply more and more need, and that's not going to change. Just check out this chart right on your screen. Remember when finding caregivers seemed to be pretty easy? You look at the chart and say, wow, you know, it was pretty flat until 2009. So it's pretty interesting that the increase in demand seems to directly correlate with the increased difficulty of finding caregivers, right? All right, I've got a question for you. Based on what's happened over the last 5 years, do you think the next 5 years are going to be easier or are they going to be harder for you and your agency? Okay, this is the million-dollar question. So not only how do we bring in more caregivers, but how do we bring in a lot of them? So I mentioned this earlier, how the industry, it's getting to that point where whoever has caregivers ready to go is basically guaranteed to get the business. Imagine a senior being discharged from the hospital, and part of the discharge plan requires that someone's in the home to provide care. So the senior, let's say they have 2 adult children, right? One lives across the country, one lives about 2 hours away. He's given a ton of home care agencies from the discharge planner and starts calling immediately to make this plan. First agency would love to help, but just they don't have the caregivers to start immediately. The second agency, the same situation. They'd love to help, but they also can't start immediately. The third agency owner says, you know what, I'll meet you at the hospital. I'm bringing one of my best caregivers. We'll get you home safely, do the in-home assessment, review this care plan, and we'll get started today. This son, he's ecstatic. He can cover the weekends, but he just needed someone to assist with those ADLs for a few hours each day. It's a done deal. So how do we bring in more caregivers? I think a lot of home care owners and managers are under this impression that somewhere way out there, perhaps at the end of a rainbow somewhere, there exists an untapped pool of experienced caregivers. Look, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this does not exist. The only way we're going to solve the caregiver shortage is by bringing new people into the industry and training them to be amazing caregivers. So on July 19th, just want to throw this out there, our CEO, Helen Adioson, she's wonderful. She's going to be sharing one way to do just that. So I'm going to chat a link to this webinar. If you want to sign up right now, I would absolutely encourage you to do so. But I don't want to steal her thunder or turn this webinar into an all-day affair. We've got a lot of California-specific content to cover, and we're going to hop right back into that. So let's start by going over just what those California training requirements are, and then we're going to cover how to get your new caregivers certified with less time and less cost. So in front of you is a summary of the legislation that I'm sure you're all aware of that went into effect January 1st of 2016. It outlines exactly what all home care organizations are supposed to be doing. So first, there's those 5 hours of training that has to take place before the caregiver can even work with a client. 2 of those hours, they've got to be focused on the role of a professional caregiver and your organization's employment policies. So what does that entail? You're going to need to teach your new hires what it means to be a professional caregiver, how to interact with clients and family members, how to work with other caregivers, what a care plan even is, and how to follow it. You're also going to have to start covering your organization's employee policies. So these are the things that you would find in your employee handbook. The other 3 of those 5 hours, they've got to be focused on safety, emergency procedures, and infection control. So you're going to need to teach your caregivers how to maintain a clean and healthy environment, what types of emergency situations are likely to come up and how to handle them, what is and is not a 911 emergency, how to safely evacuate a home, who to contact in the event of an emergency, and in what order do they prioritize that. Safety precautions, how to prevent falls in the home, how to go room by room and identify things that might create that fall risk. So, things like wires running across walkways or even just leaving personal items near stairs and doorways. These are just some of the topics that should be included in your 3-hour safety program. So let's move on to the annual training requirements. So similar to initial, there's 5 hours of initial training that's needed. California requires that a portion of your annual continuing education is focused on what they call core competencies, and a portion must be population or client specific, meaning your caregivers are going to need training on, what they're doing for your clients and the conditions that your clients have, and not just your clients in general, but the specific clients that your caregivers are working with. So let's say you're sending caregivers to work with clients affected by dementia. A portion of their annual training should be focused on dementia care. And here are those core competency topics. So 1, clients' rights and safety. So this is where we're talking HIPAA, how to keep your clients safe in their home, fall prevention, home security routines that can and should be done at the end of every shift. Number 2, how to provide for and respond to a client's daily living needs. So if your caregivers, they're preparing meals, teach them about nutrition and diets for clients who have difficulty chewing and swallowing. Make sure that you cater it to them. Proper hydration, so checking the fridge for expired foods. Condition-specific nutrition. It's important that if your caregiver is working with someone with diabetes, that the food is catered and tailored for them. If your caregivers are assisting with bathing, teach them how to do that safely and with dignity. And if your clients are using any mobility or safety equipment, just teach them how to use that equipment properly. Number 3, how to report, prevent, and detect abuse and neglect in the home. Every caregiver should know what to look for and how to properly react to any suspicions, report any of those suspicions. Situations that can occur, and especially who to notify. What are those next steps that they need to take? 4, how to assist a client with personal hygiene and other home care services. So with this one, we're looking to cover oral hygiene, we're looking to cover bathing, dressing, grooming, how housekeeping should be approached, and especially which order the room should be cleaned in. I'll let you in on a secret. It's cleanest to dirtiest. So make sure they're doing that bathroom last. Anything else you're doing for a client, it's got to be revisited annually. So range of motion exercises, medication reminders, HIV/AIDS care, cancer care, Parkinson's disease, dementia, Alzheimer's, arthritis care, anxiety and depression care strategies. This list can go on and on and on. And finally, 5. So we're not even at the end of this list yet, everyone. If you're doing transportation, either with a client's vehicle, the caregiver's vehicle, or you're taking clients on the bus or ordering Ubers and Lyfts left and right, you're going to need to cover how to do transportation safely. which may include using wheelchairs, walkers, canes, or other mobility assisting devices. So that was a lot to say the least. So, when you say 5 hours, it sounds pretty simple, pretty easy to cover, but when you start really digging deep into those topics that just make up those 5 hours, it can definitely be overwhelming. Especially considering that many of you're hiring 5 to 10 new caregivers every single month, and you have to teach all of this every single month. All right, so after that, I think we all need a breather. So let's just relax for a moment, take a deep breath. Instead of developing all that curriculum yourself and teaching it multiple times per month, what if there was an easier way? And I'm here to tell you that there absolutely is an easier way. It's us, introducing CareAcademy. So we're an online education platform that teaches caregivers just how to keep your clients healthy, happy, and in the home. So CareAcademy was launched in 2015 by our CEO, Helen Abiosin, who put herself through college by working as a caregiver. So during her college years, Helen often encountered these situations in the home that she just did not know how to handle. She started asking other caregivers for tips and techniques, and she found that her peers were in the same exact situation. She noticed that caregivers were not being equipped with the education that they needed to provide outstanding care. But not only the outstanding care, but she wasn't provided with the tools to manage the emotion and stress that comes with the job, which I think is something that a lot of people often forget. It's just how tough a job this can be for the caregiver themselves. So at the Harvard School of Education, Helen realized that this was a problem, and it was a problem that she really, really wanted to solve. So she met her co-founder, Dr. Missouri Reddy, who is a geriatrician, and then she's an instructor of medicine at Harvard Medical School. Together, they combined the best practices in education and senior care to create these engaging training programs that would equip caregivers with the skills that they need and prepare them to handle the emotional side of caregiving in a positive way. So the first version of CareAcademy was launched in 2015, and honestly, things have only been on the up and up since 2015. We've been working with home care providers across the nation to raise up the next generation of caregivers. We're addressing the caregiver shortage by developing innovative and interactive training curriculum that can be delivered on your caregiver smartphone, tablet, or computer. But most importantly, smartphones. We ensure that these classes were mobile compliant. So we're filming high-quality scenario-based video training that teaches new caregivers hard skills, so how to assist with those ADLs, and also the soft skills, so how to interact with clients and their family members, and how to do this in a professional manner, or how to effectively communicate with someone from a different culture. We have now over 20,000 caregivers enrolled in our courses. And every single month, over 3,600 courses are completed through our online training platform. 92% of the courses that are assigned are in fact completed on time, which I'd say is incredibly impressive. So one of our customers, they're a Comfort Keepers office out in California, so a neighbor to all of you, they were able to reduce the time spent onboarding new hires by 60%. I'm going to show you just how you can get these same results, but first, there's definitely something you need to understand. There's a dilemma agency owners face when it comes to new hires. When you make an employment offer, you need to get your new employees working as fast as possible, which I'm sure you all know. And if they don't, they're going to disappear on you. So let's take a look at this data up on your screen, which comes from Home Care Pulse. So as a part of their satisfaction management program, Home Care Pulse asks your caregivers why they choose to work for your home care agency. So what is that number one reason? It's because you were the first to offer them the job. So question for you guys, what happens when you offer someone a job, but you can't start them immediately? How long are they going to wait around for? Do you think that they might be interviewing with other competitors? So let's consider two jobs. They pay the same and the work is identical. Employer A says that the next orientation group, it'll start in 2 weeks. But employer B says, you know what, take these online courses, come into the office, we'll review the skills that you currently have and match the client. If you complete the 5 hours today, I'll get you working tomorrow. Which employer is the caregiver going to choose? So here's that dilemma. Do you offer orientation classes every week in order to get new caregivers started faster? But that is going to cost someone on your team 5 hours every week. And that 5 hours every week, it's going to add up. Add that prep time and documentation time, easily a full day every week. We'll just refer to it as Orientation Wednesday. Or do you try to save time by doing orientations once a month, miss out on the caregivers you need to get started right away? With CareAcademy's online training program, you are getting 3 tremendous benefits. First, simply enough, you don't have to come up with a curriculum or teach it. Our chief medical officer, Dr. Madhuri Reddy, who's a geriatrician and instructor of medicine at Harvard Medical School, she's creating the curriculum, so you don't even have to worry about it. And even better, your caregivers can complete this on their smartphone, on their tablets, or their computer, so you don't have to create the curriculum, and you especially do not have to teach it. If you're a startup agency, this alone is going to save you several weeks of work. Plus, you'll feel more confident knowing that the content is coming from a reputable source and not just some page you Googled. So second, you save a ton of time because you or your managers don't have to do as many orientation classes. Instead, you can focus that time on forging a personal connection with each and every employee, improving upon their workshopping skills. So this deepens your relationship with your employees, improves employee satisfaction, and will reduce employee turnover. Third, with CareAcademy, you can make use of a pre-hire education as both a recruiting tool and a screening tool. We recommend that you make flyers, take them all to the local high school, take them to the community colleges, adult employment organizations. So when potential employees inquire about your agency, simply assign them Care 100. What does it mean to be a professional caregiver? If they're completely new to caregiving, this course is going to give them that solid understanding of the job and set expectations right away. If they don't complete it, then whatever. You know you've got an employee who's either not serious or not willing to follow through, which is important to know before you hire them. This technique can cut your turnover in half and increase the number of applicants at the same time. In fact, one of our customers, Andrea Cohen, she's with Houseworks in Newton, Massachusetts. She tracked her employee turnover before and after implementing CareAcademy. I was able to reduce her employee turnover from 38% down to 10%. That is a 74% improvement. Let's jump back to the home care pulse data for a second. So you've probably seen the chart on your screen before. I'm definitely not the first one to show you this. It's from Home Care Pulse's survey, and they're reporting out that the average employee turnover rate in the private duty home care industry is 66%, and it seems to be getting worse every single year. So what's not typically discussed is just how that average breaks down, which we have on the chart on the right side of the screen. So isn't it pretty interesting that the top 5% of the home care operators are only experiencing a 14% turnover rate or less? So while the bottom 5% is over 185%, averages can be pretty misleading. So you might be at 30%, 40%, thinking you're doing really well because you're below that industry standard of 60% turnover. But guess what? That there's agencies out there right now who have a turnover rate down from 20% to 10%. So even if you think you're doing okay at 30 to 40%, we can cut that even lower. It's 100% possible, and other agencies are living proof of this. So in order to get numbers quite like that, you're going to need a system. So how exactly is CareAcademy meeting California's caregiver training requirements and reducing turnover at the same time? That's an incredible question. So we have over 40 hours of training content ready for you to start using, and here is the California New Hire Orientation Package right in front of you. It starts off with Care 100, like I mentioned before. What does it mean to be a professional caregiver? So Care 100 is defining the role of a professional caregiver. We're providing an overview of professional caregiving and highlighting just what a workday looks like. Caregivers are going to learn how to interact with clients, family members, and other caregivers as a professional while following a care plan. It's a really, really great foundational course that's going to teach your new caregivers what to expect and reinforces that concept of person-centered care for experienced caregivers. So it's beneficial for anyone. We recommend this course for use as your pre-hire education, like I was mentioning before. It also, important to note, meets California's Health and Safety Code 1796.44 B1 for training regarding his or her role as a caregiver. So it's all in one. So all of our courses, it's really important to note, they contain video-based training and really interactive modules to keep the training as engaging as possible. They're fun, they're interesting. I guess that's why we have a 92% completion rate. We found that video is the best way to show a caregiver just what to do and what not to do. So I'd love to hop over and take a look at a video clip from Care 303. It's our Assisting with Orals class.
If you're going to be responsible for your client's personal eating tasks, you should assess their oral cavity during your first day with them.
I need to take a look at your mouth.
Why? My teeth are fine.
I just need to make sure. Come on, open up.
But...
It'll only take a second. Let me see. The lighting in here is terrible. Wait, let me... Well, you're not bleeding, though. I think you're fine. I gotta get back to dinner. You need anything?
Yeah, glass of water, please?
All right. Hi. Okay, so I'd like to look at your mouth and teeth. Is that okay?
Why? My teeth are fine.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I just like to be familiar with your oral health so I can recognize any changes later. Is that okay?
I suppose.
All right. So I'm gonna put on a glove. Okay. All right. Open up.
Was everyone able to see the video? If you can just type in the chat, that'd be great. I just want to make sure that you guys are able to see it and hear the audio. Okay, great. Good to know. All right, so we will move on. So our classes, they are 80% scenario-based video, and the other 20%, it's interactive activities, and it all ends with a competency exam, which ensures that the caregiver is retaining this information that was covered, which of course is the most important part. So I'd love to show you an example of an interactive activity that comes right after this video in Care 303. So this is an example of an interactive activity, all about examining your client's mouth. So first, ask for permission, and here we'll be able to expand upon, and when the caregiver will expand upon that, they'll see the steps that they have to take when they ask for permission. So remember to always ask your client's permission before looking in and around the mouth, putting on gloves, always put on gloves before assessing your client's mouth. So it's interactive activities like this where we could have just put all of this into a PDF, but we made sure to take the extra time to make this as interactive as possible so your caregivers enjoy it. So let's hop back to learning more about California's requirements. All right, so Care 700. This is maintaining a clean and healthy environment, which is our infection control class. Here, your caregivers, they're going to learn the importance of infection control, common infectious diseases, a little bit of a tongue twister, and most importantly, the appropriate practices for controlling infection when it occurs. Next, Care 800. This is our emergency procedures training course. So caregivers are taught disaster procedures and how to handle an emergency and just when it's important to call 911. So we show how to safely evacuate a home and who to contact during and after an emergency. So Care 802 and 803, this is our safety precautions and fall prevention. Safety and fall prevention, this is critical for your business's success and your caregiver's employment. So we say that good training teaches your caregivers just how to keep clients healthy, happy, and in the home. Falls, they are a major risk for everyone. When your client falls, ends up in the hospital, your client loses independence and you lose that client. You'll probably lose the caregiver as well because they won't have hours to work while the client is in the hospital or rehab facility. Perhaps you've heard stats quite like when an older person falls, his or her hospital stay is almost twice as long as those of older patients who are admitted for any other reason. Or maybe that 25% of seniors who fracture a hip from a fall, they pass away within 6 months of the injury. And 2/3 of those who fall will fall again within 6 months. Fall prevention, this is incredibly critical to your client's well-being and the sustainability of your business. These 4 courses plus 1 hour of training on your organization's employment policies is what you're going to need to meet those California requirements. So let's shift over to how you can use CareAcademy for your caregivers' continuing education. So we have 3 recommended classes: our Clients' Rights, HIPAA, and Elder Abuse Prevention course. So the Assistant with Personal Care through ADLs and our Assistant with Independent Living through IEDLs course. If you haven't heard the term IEDLs, these are the instrumental activities of daily living. So things that are not considered personal care, but they're important when it comes to staying in your home. Things like going through your mail, paying your bills, coordinating transportation to the doctor's office, going to grocery stores, going to the pharmacy, doing laundry, listening to and responding to voicemails, all that jazz. So we recommend these 3 courses, and then you can just choose 2 more from our over 40 hours of curriculum that matches the services that your caregivers are providing. So we have our master class list, which I'm gonna show everyone. So some of the other topics that we have available in our course library. So we've got courses that teach your caregivers professionalism. We've got communication, problem solving, cultural competency. We've got courses that are gonna help your caregivers understand the aging process. So how the 5 senses change with age, age-related physical conditions. We've got courses on ADLs, bathing, oral hygiene, how to use mobility devices such as walkers and wheelchairs. We've got a course on range of motion exercises that your caregivers can do with your clients. We've got cancer care, heart disease, Parkinson's disease care, arthritis, caring for a person with HIV or AIDS, managing breathing difficulties. We even have 5 dementia care courses and courses on depression care and managing anxiety. And on top of this entire list that I'm showing you in front of you, we're adding new classes quarterly. So we're looking to have a total of nearly 60 hours of training by the end of this year. When you use CareAcademy, you get all of the courses plus all our future courses for one low price, and that's based on the number of caregivers that you're using for training. So we'll hop back to the presentation. And to be honest, CareAcademy is incredibly easy to use. So I say we take a look. I'm going to log into the dashboard and give you a tour right now. So welcome to the CareAcademy dashboard. Here's how it works. Pretty simple. When you sign up, you're going to get an agency dashboard that looks identical to this. This dashboard is going to automatically be populated with California's 5 initial and 5 annual courses. So this is where we can see where everyone is at with the progress of their training, what everyone's been up to. So when you have a new hire, we're going to come on over here and add them in. Sorry about that, folks. We're just going to log right back in. So that's not it either. Hold on. So basically, so when we assign a new, so when you add a new caregiver, it's going to be as easy as showing a form. So I'm going to bring that up for you right now. The form has just a few fields. And so when we add this caregiver, you're going to add it's simple enough, just first name, last name, email, phone number, their hire date, and then you press add caregiver, and they're up and running on your dashboard. So when that happens, what it's going to look like, so they're going to get an email, be like, hey, welcome to CareAcademy, create your login. So when we create a login, they're going to view their dashboard, and what they're going to see, they're going to see their initial, they're going to see their dashboard with their initial courses, which is something that we're going to bring up for you right now. It's the dashboard is simplistic. It just has it's just going to show them the course that they can take, and they'll be able to see easy enough the courses that they can add. Assigning training. So once we get back into the dashboard, I'm going to show you all what it looks like. So we have the initial classes, like I mentioned. We have the annual classes. What we're going to do is that we can, on top of that, here, us at CareAcademy, we want your caregiver to be the absolute best you can be. So actually, we just, so let's jump right into the learner dashboard. So this is going to be your learner dashboard. Here, this is where the course that they're going to see their initial classes, they're going to see their annual. It's as simple as clicking start class. That will launch our 1-hour courses. It's as simple as that. So back into the dashboard, what we can do is we can, so you'll have the initial, you have the annual. We can also bulk assign classes, which is pretty great. So you want, us at CareAcademy, we want your caregivers to be the absolute best that they can be. So here's where we can bulk assign classes out to your caregivers. So I would love to get back into the dashboard so I can show you guys the certificates and reports. Because along that comes with CareAcademy, it's not just the online classes, it's not just the tracking of where your caregivers are at, but we're going to assist you with that reporting that we know is necessary within California. So we're working on bringing that up right now. So we have both a reporting feature and a certificate feature. The certificate, so the reporting, it's based off of California. So the report that's going to be generated, which is a living document and just continues to be updated as your caregivers complete training, is based on California. So when those auditors come into your office and they're looking for, they're like, hey, where are your caregivers? What are they up to? You're going to be able to show them this report. That's exactly what they're looking for. So we're bringing that up right now, because I'd love for you guys to get a visual of that. So here we go. All right, so we're going to show you an example of our compliance reports. So this is an example of what's going to be consistently updated for the caregivers that you have up there. So day training completed, training title, brief description of the topics covered, training organization name, all the fields that you need, they're right there. We can also view, so each course, when your caregiver completes it, it's going to come along with a CareAcademy certificate that both your caregiver will be able to print upon completion of the course, as well as you'll have it on your admin side. So these certificates, they look great. You can print them out, we can frame them, even use them in your marketing. We've had tons of agencies who have included this in their flyer to attract caregivers, because all caregivers, they want that level of education. So we like the idea personally of printing them out, having a huge wall of certificates so that when your clients or referral sources visit your office, it'll show off your commitment to not only providing high quality of care, but also just having a highly trained workforce. So I've Showed you a lot today. I've showed you the CareAcademy dashboard, what that learner dashboard is going to look like. But you know who says it absolutely best, and definitely better than I can? It's the people who use CareAcademy each and every day. So we recently sat down with one of our current customers. His name's Kevin. He's the president of the Massachusetts Home Care Association and a second-generation home care owner. So his agency, Best of Care, it's a large agency in the Boston area providing around-the-clock care services with multiple offices and a large care team. Best of Care, initially, they have a 12-hour training program, and this used to be 100% in person. So they would do multiple 3-hour workshops to ensure that every caregiver is completing twice as what is required in California. And I am going to put up Kevin's video right on the screen so you guys can check it out for yourself. All right, so before I talk a little bit about oh my gosh, a little bit more about Kevin, I do want to apologize. I think that we had a little bit of technical difficulties with the dashboard, and I went through it a lot faster than I would have liked, especially because this is probably the first time you guys are all seeing the dashboard. So I'd like you guys all to know that when it comes to the dashboard, I'm going to bring it back up during our Q&A portion. So any questions you have, any portions that you want to see, I'd be more than happy to dive into that. So Kevin, who you guys all just saw, he's actually a second-generation home care owner, and he's been working with his father, who started the agency to take over the family business. So I think it's pretty cool. His father built a legacy of service and care, and now he's passing the baton to his son, Kevin, who's doing amazing things in terms of expanding their service hours and service area, as well as leveraging technology to improve the lives of caregivers and clients. Our time together is coming to a close, but I just want to make a special offer for everyone who is still with us. So if you like what you've seen today and want to get started, I am pleased to be able to offer a savings of $50 per month on every single CareAcademy package. So in addition to the $50 off, and by the way, that is off of every single month. I just really want to stress that. So it's $600 per year of savings. We're also waiving the setup cost. This setup is normally $500. So when you sign up today, you're saving $1,100. I also just kind of want to dive into the different tiers we have, just so everyone knows what's going on. So we have 10 seats, and we have 25 seats. So those are our two starter packages. So with that, you can train up to either 10 or 25 caregivers. You have access to the entire full content library, and you will have email and chat support from our customer success team, and they're here 7 days a week. Let's move on up. So let's say you want 50 seats available for your agency. So not only are you getting that full content library, you're getting that email and chat support. On top of all that, we'll assist you with bulk onboarding of your caregivers. We will get your caregivers up and running in the dashboard so you don't have to. And you'll have dedicated phone support. So in addition to emailing and texting, you'll be able to hop on a call and talk to one of our customer service reps directly. Finally, if your agency, it seems like you would be a good fit for our 100-seat package. So not only are you getting that full content library, email, chat, phone support, we'll bulk upload your caregivers for you. You're also going to be getting a branded login portal. So it'll have your logo right there when your caregivers sign in, on top of the state audit support. So if you need any assistance when it comes to reporting and assistance with that. So right here, so this is the link to get started up now. I'm also going to chat it out so you guys can click on that and get started right away. This deal is only good for another hour or so after this webinar, so you really have to sign up now to get, so it's $60 off plus the $4.99. It would be $1,100 total savings today. And I am sure there are a bunch of questions that I can answer. So let's get them answered right away. Okay, so I'm going to bring on my associate Ashley to help answer some questions because it definitely gets a little tricky to manage some of the incoming questions. So Ashley, are you there?
Yeah, hello everyone.
So please feel free to chime in at any time if I miss anything, please.
Of course.
All right, so first question, is there a contract? Yes, there is a contract. It's a 1-year commitment, but there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. So we really would encourage you to sign up today, give it a shot. If it's not right for you, just let us know and we can part ways as friends and we won't take it personally. Next question. Yeah, so you went through everything pretty fast. It looks good, but I have a few more questions. Yes, absolutely, I can only imagine. Please ask your questions now. If you have a question, there's probably 10 other people that have the same question. I've got my screen share ready. We can log back into the dashboard, take a look at any part of the system that you'd like. So how well do the courses run on smartphones? Good question. Our courses, they're specifically designed to work on smartphones. In fact, 8 out of 10 of our caregivers who've been assigned CareAcademy training completed this on their smartphone. So, but of course, so not only do they run on smartphones, but they were designed to be optimized for it. So, if a caregiver leaves the training and comes back, do they need to start over? Nope, not at all, absolutely not. So if they closed out of the mobile site because they had to go tend to a client, the place in the training where the caregiver left off, it's going to be bookmarked. So they don't finish the training all at once. It will be taken back to where they left off. We're really pushing for convenience here and flexibility when we develop CareAcademy. So does the training have scenarios that teach caregivers how to interact with clients? Yes, 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 and yes. So our classes include video scenarios of caregiver-client interaction. So these scenarios, as you saw, they're going to highlight the correct and compliant way to perform skills. So both the clinical skills, like bathing and transfers, but also those incredibly important soft skills like managing difficult or aggressive behavior. We're also going to show examples of incorrect and non-compliant or professional ways to underscore what not to do on the job and just reinforce, the correct way to do this. So let's see another question. Oh yeah, so please explain how the seats work. Okay, so if you buy, for example, 50 seats, when a caregiver leaves, does that open up a new spot or is it like 50 caregivers who can be trained? So the packages, they're based on how many caregivers will be assigned any amount of training at the same time. So if someone happens to leave your agency for whatever reason, or they no longer are in need of training, you can deactivate them and then that spot will open up so you can add a new caregiver. So you won't be penalized for adding a new caregiver. Will these courses be applicable to RCSE caregivers? Unfortunately, so not yet. They're not California DSS approved, so that's what you need on the assisted living side. Do we also get certificates for caregivers with the starter? Yes, the certificates come with any package. So if you were to just start today with our up to 10 seats, yes, your caregivers will have access to the certificates as well as they will be available in the admin dashboard. And how long does this take to set up? Will there be support all throughout? So onboarding, it's going to be incredibly simple. If you go to the website, what we're going to see, so you're going to see just a form where you're going to fill out your name, your company name, it's going to be asked for credit card information. From there, you're going to be taken to a page where you can sign up basically for a webinar. Basically, you'll have an onboarding demo with our customer success team, and then you'll have immediate access to, we'll create your dashboard immediately, so you can go right in there, start adding your caregivers, and we'll get the California initial and annual classes all set up for you. Are there any other questions that I can answer? So I'd be more than happy to jump back into the dashboard, anything that any of you need. Can we connect CareAcademy to our website? So I would love for whoever asked us if they could clarify what they mean. So connect CareAcademy to our website, so access to training, or is it connecting the training reporting? I'd love to know how we can help you there. If you mean putting a login link on your website, absolutely. You can direct your team there. The link's going to be go.careacademy.com, and then your caregiver will be taken right to their login portal. So absolutely, it's a mobile site, so we encourage agencies to put this site on their caregiver dashboard. Okay, so we'll wait around for we have a couple more minutes, see if there's any more questions, because you can absolutely always reach out to us directly if there's anything that you'd like to discuss further. That's not a problem. Numbers are right there on the screen. Okay, so I believe we answered all the questions we have right now. I just want to thank you all again for taking the time out of your day to come join us here to learn more about CareAcademy and just how we can help you with California caregiver certifications. And remember, so this promotion that we went over, it's only good until the end of the webinar. One more hour you have to sign up. We really recommend that you take us up on this offer. You have 30 days to back out if it's really not something you'd like. Please reach out to CareAcademy if you have any further questions after the webinar. Thank you so much, everyone.